their first uniform, their first number, their first teammate, their first goal, their first coach. We take great care in making sure their first isn't their last. We're so much more than a soccer class. Come play with us today at kickstarttoddlersoccer.com.
Hey, give me some of it. Okay, all right, I'm going. The Journey, the Tilton Girls, take one.
My favorite moments ever as a father was the moment she made the A-team.
They would always push me and my friends as well.
Their authenticity and integrity that they were able to do everything with.
I still struggle with a little bit, just like the confidence, like knowing that I'm in a different environment.
Could not be more proud of you, Justice, and of you, Remini.
It's gonna be a roast here. No, it's not a roast. And it was hard. Don't tell anybody that.
And action.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. We help players develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills, receiving and finishing from different situations such as volleys, headers, one touch, and off the dribble, with and without pressure. In addition, we help players increase their speed of play, dominate with their off-the-ball movement, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, as well as large groups and team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country. We've also developed one of the most detail-oriented training programs to help out players. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. For more information, visit our website, evolutionperformancetraining.com, or text or call 248-818-3943.
Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75. Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in!
We like to do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
Whether we need to or not.
We did it today.
It was really dirty.
My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club.
Join today, starting at just $24.99 a month.
Are you looking to grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers for this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Base Camp Fitness Troy, opening up this March, will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn, all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founders rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Base Camp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
I watch soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
لا تنسون تتابعونا على Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I like to watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
Me gusta mirar fútbol en Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I love watching soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Back to Vitriol. He'll take a shot and he'll bear it. And then he'll fire it from Billows and it'll go in. Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in. Oh, and both goals so far. He'll fire one, and that's a wonderful save, Trinity. That's missed. Oh, it's Stone. And he'll fire one now from distance, and that is in. What a strike by Ben Maher. Well, happy Sunday, everybody. It is Sunday, March the 26th. It is week number 2 of the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association Girls Rankings. Last week, we announced the top 60 teams from across the state of Michigan in each division, 15 aside. Today, we'll do the exact same thing. 29 changes in total, Dan. 29 changes. That's a lot.
And a couple of schools debuting.
A couple. That's right. We have 4 newcomers to the rankings, 1 in each division, which is nice. And we'll see some changes here throughout this ranking season, so to speak. But we have a guest with us here this week. First time ever, Mr. Jimmy Stachura, the head coach of Notre Dame Prep High School Girls Soccer, the boys head coach for Troy High, and also the Division III chair.
Yeah, thanks, John, for having me. Really excited to be part of what you guys are doing and getting the high school girls season underway in the right way.
Well, we are excited that you are here. We are excited to continue this conversation about girls soccer and the rankings. We will continue to do the same thing we did last week, which was get you the top rankings. We'll cover each division has a newcomer in the rankings, so we'll highlight those newcomers tonight, and we'll do some player profiles, some players from across the state. And I think we have a good mix of players that we'll talk about here tonight, Dan.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Well, before we dive in, I want to do some housekeeping like we always do here. Always got to do the housekeeping before we get things underway. We appreciate you stopping by and watching us here tonight. And all that we ask that you do, and it's quite simple actually, all we ask that you do is subscribe here on our network on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button. Like us, follow us, share this with your friends and your family, your teammates, and everybody else in between. Because again, without that subscribership, well, it's hard for us to continue to grow. So. And a reminder as well that starting not next week, but actually after next weekend's show, we will start our the Player of the Week nominations. That'll begin here again that week, and we'll get into that here with this. Well, the picture's not going to show up on the screen because it's not loaded, but we will start that process here next week. We'll get you more information, start that process, and so much more. So, but either way here, as I welcome you into our main screen now with the 3 of us, a busy week here across the state as games got underway here on Wednesday across the state, and a lot of games taking place. Some good key matchups. We saw Anchor Bay versus Troy Athens, 2 ranked teams last week. Will they stay in the rankings? You'll have to wait till later in the show to find that out. But they drew 1-1 here earlier this week. Rochester Adams versus Plymouth Salem. That was a key matchup. Rochester Adams fell in that one 2-1 to Plymouth Salem. We'll see if Rochester Adams stays in or Salem comes up. We'll talk about that as well. So, but let's get into Division 4 here first. Division 4 is where we always start here, and as we always do here, want to start, and we'll put the graphics up on the screen right now. Starting it here with 15 through 6, as it comes up on your screen now. You'll see there Covenant Christian staying the same in that 15th spot, and then then Lenawee Christian in that 14th spot. Schoolcraft, same spot as last week, 13. Grand Rapids North Point at 12th. Again, this 15 through 11, basically the same as last week, well, exactly the same. And then we see a newcomer there. That newcomer is Riverview Gabriel Richard at number 10.
Yeah, they come out of the intersectional division of the Catholic High School League. I don't believe they were ranked at all last year, but little chatter about them being one of the most improved teams in the downriver area, south of Detroit.
That they are, as you'll see there at number 9, Harbor Springs. Number 8, Lansing Christian. Lansing Christian in the 8th spot as last week. Kalamazoo Christian, the biggest change here in this rankings. They went from number 3 to number 7 after that loss here this week to Hudsonville Unity Christian 5-0. And then Bishop Foley is sitting right there at the 6th spot. So some changes. And overall, there were 6 changes here. We saw, obviously, the fallout of Jackson Lumen Christie, who was there last week. They fell to Gabriel Richard 5-1, and Gabriel Richard hops in that number 10 spot.
Yeah, and another thing that the coach associate added this week was honorable mention. So besides Lumen Christie falling out, we had Manchester and Saugatuck getting some recognition just outside of the top 15. And Kalamazoo Christian, they played in the state finals in D4 a couple times in the last 5 years. Hudsonville Unity Christian is one of the best teams in D3, so even though they had a harsh 5-0 loss, I wouldn't count Kalamazoo Christian out of the hunt. Any time this season. That is a staple program the last decade in Division 4. No, I definitely wouldn't count them out either. As you take a look here on your screen, Riverview, Gabriel Richard. Again, they come in with a 1-0-0 record. Last year, they were 2-7-2 overall. This week, they beat Jackson Lumen Christie 5-1. Again, previously ranked, knocked them right out, and here they go. So, will we see a lot of that kind of where you see a team like who's already ranked facing off against another team, and then they'll move in and move out, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of movement over this first month. A lot of these rankings are based on what happened last year and what you did prior, and graduation, injuries, a lot of things can affect things. Some teams that get some freshman kids in can affect that. So, as at the end of the day, I agree with Dan. I think you'll see Jackson Lumen Christie in there in the mix as we go. And it just, they ran into a buzzsaw their first game in UC. That's just an outstanding program. So, yeah, it's going to be great. In Division 4, a lot of these schools are the same names you see year after year, and for good reason. They're really good programs, have good leadership at the top.
So let's get into here our Division 4 top 5. Starting off number 5, Plymouth Christian. They were 0-1-0 here to start this season. They were number 7 last week, and now they're in that 5th spot. West Michigan Christian was in 5th. They're now in 4th. You look at North Muskegon. They were in 2nd, now at 3rd. University of Liggett in 4th, now in 2nd. And Royal Oak Shrine, for the 2nd week in a row, are your number 1 team in Division 4.
Yeah, you look at that group. Plymouth Christian, I believe they won the Blue Division of the Michigan Independent Athletic Conference title last year. A couple All-State players are back. They've been pretty consistent the last several years. Muskegon Western Michigan Christian, their boys team won the state title last fall. Now, that school is independent. They don't have a conference this school year. So their record might be a little misleading later in the year because they actually will play some D2, D3, and even some D1 schools being independent. So they might have some losses or ties on their record. But, once they enter the D4 tournament come the end of May, they're going to be a team to watch. North Muskegon, they've been ranked in top 5, it seems like forever. They've, the last 5 to 10 years, they've been consistently a very good team. They expect them to, to make another deep run as well. And then Shrine and Liggett, 2 Catholic League schools that will be in contention. Shrine's won 2 of the last 4 state titles. Liggett, I believe, last won in 2014. It's the last time they won a state title, but a program that never seems to, drop too far away.
Let's take a look here now at our profile here, our Division 4 player profile. Taylor Leonard from Kalamazoo Christian. First team All-State last year in Division IV. She's a senior, scored 30 goals and had 12 assists here last season for Kalamazoo Christian, who played for a state title last year and fell in the final. In the final.
Yeah, they lost to Royal Oak Shrine. So when you have a returning All-State players, that will help make that run.
That they will, as that will wrap up our Division IV. Want to remind everybody here that starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., you will be able to see all of these rankings as on our website, as well as on social media, as well as on the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association. So an exciting first start to this high school ranking show. Division IV is a wrap. Got all Division IV. Whew, that was a lot, man.
and the names are always long. You have a lot of Catholic and Christian schools that have, multiple words in their school name. I mean, say Grosse Pointe Woods University Liggett 5 times fast.
Grosse Pointe University Liggett. There you go. Well, before we head to break, let's go ahead here and talk about our sponsors, Granite City's Daily Deals. Now, they don't have anything on Sundays except brunch, which is normally from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You missed that if you're watching this right now. But tomorrow morning, they'll have Burger Monday. And that's right, Burger Monday is $6 build-your-own burgers, $10 Granite City pitchers, or $6 growler fills. For all of you parents out there, not students. It's important to say that. Visit Granite City of Troy at the corner of I-75 and 16 Mile, or at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty in Northville. You're watching the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association ranking show right here on the Michigan Soccer Network. We'll be back after the break. Are you looking to grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers for this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Base Camp Fitness Troy, opening up this March, will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn, all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founder's rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Base Camp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan. Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
Saying action. Go. And action. Hi, we're the Tilly Sisters.
And check out, nope.
We're the Tilly Sisters.
Check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network.
You weren't looking. Hi, we're the Tilly Sisters.
And you can check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Do it around the, all right. I'll just go like this. All right. Oh, wait, what are we saying?
Welcome back here into our Premier Sports Center studio in Shelby Township, Michigan. Alongside Dan Stickrad, I'm Jonathan Turner. This is Jimmy Stachura. He is the Division III chair as well as the head coach at Notre Dame Prep and at Troy High School. So glad to have you in. We didn't really get a chance to do an intro of you in that first run-up. So, Jimmy, what makes you tick?
It's kind of a funny question. I've been doing this for a long time. It's almost 30 years now, coaching between club and high school sports. I really like the student-athlete part of the game and giving a little back. I'm in two completely different types of schools. One that has 2,200 kids, another one that has 650, and it's great to be able to see these kids not only shine on the field but academically as well, and just a really awesome situation for me, and I'm thankful that I had the opportunity. So yeah, it's great.
That's awesome, man. Well, let's do something here real quick. Let's get one of our ad spots out of the way here. Get maximum results in half the time. Base Camp Finish Troy will open this month offering 35-minute high-intensity interval training HIIT workouts for the whole body. Lock in the founder's rate and scan the QR code on your screen right now. Base Camp Finish Troy is located at 443 East Big Beaver Road. To inquire more about memberships or amenities, you can call 586-416-1800. And they actually officially open their doors tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow, Monday, March the 27th. So,
you gonna try it out?
I will not be trying it out tomorrow. I've already said that I don't want to do that. But either way, so a lot of things still to get through here. We're going to head into Division III here in just a moment. But Jimmy, the question I want to ask you, because you're the first chair we've had on the network, and I think that's important to talk about. What is the process? Without you don't have to give out all the details, but what's the process for rankings right now?
Just really reaching out to a lot of the coaches in your particular division. Obviously, the local coaches around here I know pretty well, but I don't know as many. And then all the teams on the west side of the state, the northern part, the downriver area, the Thumb area. So I made it a point to try to get with some people that I knew through some of the all-state process meetings and those, and then just kind of put a word out and say, hey, who do you think is going to be good? Who's returning players? Just kind of give me an idea of what to do, because it's really hard to do in this first couple weeks. I mean, there's schools that haven't even been outside yet because of the weather, so you don't really know. So you mix that information with what you have returning as far as the information from the final rankings last year, and you try to formulate the best possible situation. And as we mentioned, even through the D4, the best possible situation that you have now is going to be completely different, usually in 5 weeks from now. So I think we do a pretty good job, and if you're trying to do it correctly, you're trying to hit all the different areas regionally. And I think we've done, looking at some of these rankings, we've done a really good job of that.
How hard is it, though? Because in today's era, we're having kids, even now, 2 weeks into the season, kids are starting to trickle back from their ECNL or Girls Academy teams. Some seniors that want to play one season. We saw that in the boys. There was 20-plus kids from different academies around the state that wanted to play one season of high school. We're starting to see there's rumor of some kids coming back after spring break. So how does that play in when you guys rank?
Yeah, it does. Until you physically see them on the field and in a jersey, it's always hearsay. We've heard a couple in D4 that could come back, a couple in D1 that could come back. And it'll change things for sure. But at the end of the day, especially for the smaller schools in the D3s and D4s, those players can have a pretty big impact. And so when you're hearing rumors like that, you're keeping an ear to the ground that if it does happen, you keep an eye on those scores, you see who they're playing, you see how they're doing, and then you can go from there and make a pretty good, assessment.
It's great, and let's get into right now here the Division III rankings here. We'll start with 15 through 6 like we do for Division 4. As I put up our background here, as soon as I find it, it's producing this can be sometimes somewhat difficult all at the same time. But as we move this, here we go. Perfect. All right, so we'll move into 15 through 6 here. They'll show up on your screen. As starting here with number 15, Milan. Milan is number 15. They were there last week. And then we see the first change. Warren Regina, they were number 8 last week, moving now into that 14th spot. Brooklyn Columbia Central, they were in 13 last week. And then newcomer, currently previously unranked, Holland Christian steps in at number 12. They beat Holland here earlier in the week, 4-0. And then you'll see Grosse Ile there, currently holding at the 11. They were there last week. Grand Rapids Catholic Central holding up there at 10. And then you'll see Notre Dame Prep. Notre Dame Prep head coach Jimmy Sure in studio with us. They were previously at that 5 spot, now at 9. Their record this week, they went 1-1 as they beat. You beat Mercy 4-0 and then lost to Marion here yesterday in 50-degree winds and rain yesterday afternoon.
Pure Michigan.
Pure Michigan, right? Country Day, they were at 12 last week, moving into the 8th spot. You got Ann Arbor, Gabriel Richard. They were at 9 last week. They're at 7th. Essexville, Garber, they were at 7, now at 6. And then you'll see Elk Rapids, they were at 6, now at 5. We're seeing the trend here. Flint Powers Catholic 4, and then the rest of the grouping is the same as it was last week. Grand Rapids South Christian sitting at third, Hudsonville Unity Christian 2nd, and then you got Williamston there sitting at 1.
A lot of these programs have been there in the last 5-10 years. A couple new ones. Brooklyn Columbia Central, I don't think has ever been ranked up until this year. They were on the boys' side a few years ago when they had a couple really good players, but on the girls' side, I don't believe so. And Holland Christian, solid program. Their boys' team won the state championship last fall. They're kind of at that cutoff line, too, between D2 and D3, where they've been flopping back and forth for 20-plus years. So expect that the Maroons will be a quality side here in Division 3. Jimmy, any opinion on any of these teams?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those first 5. Williamston returns a lot of players, some really talented kids. Unity Christian, South Christian, Flint Powers, all expected to be very good. I think the most intriguing part about D3, and the hardest part for me when I'm trying to organize it, is the middle part there. So Ann Arbor, Gabriel Richard, and Country Day both return a lot of players. I know AAGR has added a couple players that they didn't have last year, and they're expected to make a good run. Country Day was kind of a one that we weren't really sure what they were going to be, and then they go and do a really good job against an upstart Orchard Lake St. Mary's team, beating them 4-2, and that was a big thing in my view. I hold Orchard Lake St. Mary's at a pretty good standard. They got some really good players. On the bottom side of it, like Holland Christian, there were 2 or 3 coaches that dropped me a line and said, hey, I think they have to be in the list. They've been somebody that's been in that first group of 15 teams the last couple of years. And, the funny part was, like we were just talking about Brooklyn Columbia Central, there was a coach that said, hey, they're sneaky good. And I go, well, what do you mean by sneaky good? He goes, they haven't put it all together yet. And he goes, once they get it all together, this could be the season for them. So he thought that they should be ranked in that spot. And it's been great. I mean, all the coaches have been super helpful in getting us started in this.
So in total, 7 changes. Newcomer Holland Christian with a 1-0-0 record beat Holland here 4-0 earlier this week. Last year they were 9-7-0 and lost to Hudsonville Unity Christian 6-1 in the district. So that is the newcomer here for your Division 3 for this upcoming this ranking show here tonight. As we move now into your top 5. That's right, your top 5 for Division 3. Elk Rapids is in that 5 spot. Flint Powers Catholic again in 4, Grand Rapids South Christian in 3rd, Hudsonville Unity Christian, and Williamston in that 1 spot. Again, not much changing there at all. In the top 4, we saw Elk Rapids bump their way into that 5th spot, previously held by Notre Dame Prep. So there's your top 5.
Yeah, and you look at Unity Christian dating back to, I believe, 2002. 10 state championships, 4 state runners-up over 21 seasons. Talk about an absolute program, just a juggernaut.
Yeah, no question about it.
They always seem to get a lot of very good athletes, very good club players, and new faces every year. Even in today's era where they lose kids to the Midwest United, ECNL, and Academy teams, they still find a way to keep their presence in that top 10.
So let's take a look now here on your screen, our player profile for Division 3. Alex Williams from number 9, Notre Dame Prep. A midfielder, number 2. She's graduating this year and already committed to Grand Valley State University, where she'll continue playing her college career, but was part of the All-State first team last year for Division 3. Standout player.
Yeah, she's really good. Just an awesome kid. We talk a lot about, as coaches, making sure you have people that are good role models for the kids as well as good soccer players. She's awesome. She's really, really good with all the younger players. Has somebody that takes pride in everything that she does, whether it be on the field, off the field. And for us, she's the engine that makes us go. And it's been like that for 3 years. We're really excited to have her back and excited to see her play in college next year at Grand Valley.
Yeah, and she I believe she just missed the Dream Team last year, but Grand Valley State, I mean, how many times and they've got to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four, national champions, runners-up in the last 20 years, absolute powerhouse. And that kind of goes into something we had Oakland University men's soccer coach Eric Pogue on one of our MSN weekly shows a couple weeks ago. He talked about, between men's and women's soccer, how many good D2, D3, NAIA schools, college-wise, there are in Michigan. So for kids who want to play in college, just because they don't go D1 does not mean they're not going to a very good university to play collegiately and get a very good degree.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that people are starting to realize, especially on the girls' side, that there's several programs, like your Ferris States and your Grand Valleys, that are super competitive with the Division I people. They're getting Division I recruits. It just may be that the school size fits a little better for a player. I could tell you, being able to coach Alex a little bit in the club side, I mean, she had Division I colleges looking at her, and it just made a better sense for her academically and athletically to go to Grand Valley. They've got a steal. I mean, she's a really good player. So
there's a misconception that somehow Division I is the end-all, be-all of all things soccer or sports in general. And while that may be true in some situations, I think that's they're unique. Every player is unique. Every situation is unique. And I do think that there is a home for any college based on what you're looking for, right? And the transfer portal has been a good thing and a bad thing for college sports. But if you're a player in 2023 who's going to find themselves at a Grand Valley and you show yourself on the field, the Michigan States of the world that make sense for you, or, the North Carolinas or whatever, believe you me, they will come knocking on your door, the right way, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
just look at what Michigan State did with just one change of a coach over there with Jeff Hostler taking over, right? Ava Cook comes from Grand Valley. Next thing you know, she's drafted in the NWSL draft. Lauren DeBow, same thing, transferred, went to Grand Valley, didn't play a minute yet because he left, and then ended up transferring over to Michigan State and gets drafted in the NWSL. So there's players there. It's just a matter of finding them. That's all.
No question. So we're going to step aside here for our second break, and when we come back here, we'll get more into Division II rankings, talk some more here with Jimmy Shachura. But before we head to break here, let's talk here about the FC Barcelona and how they're coming to town here this summer. FC Barcelona Soccer Camp is an exclusive opportunity to learn the mythologies of the unique Barca style. FC Barcelona coaches will arrive across the United States to conduct these training sessions and teach you the techniques of one of the most successful soccer academies in the world. Coming this July 3rd through July 7th, Barca is coming to the Legacy Sports Center in Brighton, Michigan. Scan the QR code or to register at camps.fcbarcelona.us. Use promo code FCBMSN and save $30 off registration. The promo and the exclusive limited time promotional fee is changing here tomorrow, so you're going to save money by doing it today. And we'll have new pricing for that starting here tomorrow on MSN Weekly. You're watching the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association High School Ranking Show, week number 2. Coming back here with Division II on the other side of the break.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
Clubs love Ollie because it helps them manage their club and accelerate the development of their coaches and players. Every soccer club talks about their focus on development, but nobody actually measures it until now. We've developed the capability for every one of your teams to easily capture pro-level game stats in real time using a mobile phone. It's one thing at the end of the day to look up the results for your club, but how valuable would it be for directors to actually see how each team played? How well did a team possess the ball and control the game? How well did they create dangerous chances inside the box? How did your top players perform? And how is each coach improving from week to week? Ollie provides this powerful data through a club dashboard that shows club results and lets you drill down into any game or player. Ollie also includes team and club management that lets you communicate instantly with coaches, parents, and players, and lets directors see every club event so they can easily coordinate visits to matches and training sessions. It's got everything you need in one simple app. Reach out to us to get your club started today.
We're going to try and win this thing. We're going to go for it, right? You're watching your team, you're watching them play, you're watching them practice. Is this a team you thought at the beginning of the year was going to be there at the end?
Yes. And honestly, I told my team this, and I told a lot of people, it wasn't unexpected. I think we have a top program. I was actually pretty disappointed that we hadn't won one up until now. I think we've had some great years before, 2016, 2017, 18, even 21, 19. I mean, where things just didn't click. They didn't work out for us at the end of the season, where we had great seasons and didn't work out. But this year, everything came together, and to be honest, it wasn't unexpected.
Okay. No, and that's good. I mean, like, you think about it, you said there's lots of times you watch, and we had Todd Hugh here a few weeks ago, and there was a year that his team did not make it all the way to a state final, and that was the team that he said was the better team that he thought was going to go. And then when they won it, and maybe not been the better team he had, but that's sometimes how it shakes out. We welcome you back here into our Premier Sports Center studio. It is Sunday, March 26th. It's week number 2 of the high school rankings here, presented by the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association. Dan Stickrat, John Turner, Jimmy Stachura, right here live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. So wherever you're watching, we do appreciate it. We have MSN Weekly on location tomorrow night. We'll be out at Nationals Pro-Am tryouts at Evolution in Auburn Hills, as we'll cover some of that and what's going on with those tryouts here, and have some fun on location for the first time in a long time.
We're going to take the show on the road.
We're taking the show on the road, as they say here, right? And but before we go any further here and get in Division II rankings, I know you're all on your seats or wherever you might be. Maybe you're standing because you're on your phones. But either way, before we get into those rankings, let's talk here about finishing Fridays with Evolution Soccer. That's right, finishing Fridays every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. Players will receive specialized training dedicated to enhancing your ability to score goals. Scoring goals is a big deal. So visit evolutionperformancetraining.com and use promo code MSN10 to get 10% off your training session today. So real quick here, the weather, I know there are some teams right now are on spring break. Our schools are on spring break. Some teams continue to play this upcoming week, and it's kind of be back and forth with all these. It seems like spring break will go on for the next 3 weeks. So how does that affect your team and affect, how you train and how you prepare during this season? Because it seems like the boys' season, there's really no interruptions except for maybe a couple days here or there with some holidays, but you're a full go from August until November.
Yeah, it's much harder for the girls. We talk about this all the time. So the boys, the minute mid-June hits, you're seeing summer leagues and all these things and captains' practices and everything. For the girls, it's completely different because not only do you not see them quite as much, but you're not allowed to do any team training or anything like that. It's all, player-based and player-run. So it's completely different. And then you add in, like Dan just said, pure Michigan, and it gets very, very difficult. I can tell you from experience, my team was basically just 6-on-6 for the first 9 days of opportunity that we had. And then we finally were able to get outside the day before we played our first scrimmage. And the snow wasn't even completely off the field. It was just kind of on the edges. So it just makes it really, really hard. And you just try to make sure you're keeping the athletes safe. You're trying to make sure that they're getting a litrough fitness in because that weather is brutal out there. So
I could imagine, as we'll now kind of hop in here now into Division II. Starting with 15 through 6, like we've been doing all night long here. Here's your Division II rankings. Starting off with number 15 on the list, New Boston Huron. They were at 6 last week. We'll talk about why they're there. Mason in 14th. They were at 15. They moved up a spot, as well as did St. Joseph is now at 13. And then newcomer, previously unranked Dearborn Divine Child, coming in at number 12. East Grand Rapids is at that number 11 spot. And then Zeeland West coming in at 10th. Marshall at 9th. They were previously at the 8th spot. Hazlitt was at 10. Now they're at 8. DeWitt, they were at 9, and now we're at 7. And then Cranbrook rounding out the 15 through 6, as they were in 7th and now sitting at 6th. So in total, there were 11 changes for these rankings. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Well, the team that dropped out was South Lyon East. The reason why they dropped is they were moved up to Division I this year enrollment.
Moving on up.
15 years old that school is, and they had enough enrollment. They made the cutoff for Division I, so there had to be a new team in there. Honorable mentions, 3 schools that they are listing just outside the top 15 are Linden, Grand Rapids, Forest Hills Northern, and Garden City. Linden should likely rank in the rankings for the years over Flip Metro League powerhouse. They had a very good year last year. And then you look at that 15 through 6 spot. Divine Child's been very good the last 5 years, so expect them to, to be one of the better teams in that AA division of the Catholic High School League. And beyond that, Marshall had a great year last year. Expected they'll hold the fort as well. DeWitt and Hazlitt. It seems like they always face us in a district semi or district final every year, and chances are they will again this year.
Well, and here's the thing, and I want to make sure, we say this all the time on this show, and don't blame the messenger. We're not the ones that create this list. But with that being said, how does a team that has not played yet still stay in a number 1, number 2, number 3 spot, Dan or Jimmy, when a team who has played a couple of games, how come they haven't bumped them up?
Could be a couple of reasons. Could be just the returning players that they have coming back and in history. I mean, at the end of the day, we talked about it before. Some of this is just guesswork in the beginning until you physically see what they have on the field. If you look at this list, your 15 through 6, I mean, there's a lot of good teams on there that could make a run and could be in that top 5 in the first 2 weeks once they get everybody back and people start playing games. So there's no doubt. I mean, we talk about Divine Child being unranked last year. They've been one of the best teams, in the last couple of years, and on the boys' side as well. And seeing them just being the first rank, right? I think they'll end up in that top 10 somewhere along the year too.
So Dearborn Divine Child is your newcomer this week. They are ranked 12th here in Division 2. They beat New Boston Huron. New Boston Huron earlier this week. 5-0 was the final score, and that's where New Boston, they ended up going to 15 after that loss. Last year, they were 10-9-2 and lost to none other than New Boston Huron in the district finals. So that's going to be that it is. And you think about that, that's a pretty impressive turnaround, right? You think you lose to a team in district finals, then you come back in the first game of the season. Who do you face? Face them, you beat them. So it's so welcome into the rankings there, Dearborn Divine Child. Hopefully see you stick around there for the rest of the season. We'll see what happens. As we'll now take a look now at your top 5 here for Division 2. In that 5 spot, you'll see Trenton. Trenton was ranked 5 last week. Matter of fact, the only change in this top 5 was Marion High School moving to number 1 and Forest Hills Central moving to number 2. Everybody else stays the same.
Yeah, and Marion, we know they've had some injury issues, but they never seem to fade too far away. I guess we've talked off the show. I think their main concern is trying to find a goal scorer, because that's where they lost some of their firepower to graduation and injuries, was people attacking midfielders and forwards. So we'll see if they'll be able to hold fort. Gold Lake hasn't played yet. They were in the Final Four last year. I understand they're very good. Spring Lake was state runner-up 2 years ago, got the Elite 8 last year. Ton of players back there as well. So a lot of teams up there will be fighting for a long tournament runs, but a lot of season to play. We got league play coming up. A lot of leagues will start play here in the next week or two, and see how that kind of has an effect on the rankings when a lot of really good teams start beating up on each other.
That's right. Now we'll take a look at our player profile here for Division 2, and that's none other than Maddie Bilbia from Richland Gold Lake, a midfielder, number 13. All-state team, All-state first team Division 2 here last year, scored 20 goals and had 17 assists. That's pretty good stats there. You think about it.
Gold Lake is no slouch. And boys and girls soccer, look what they've done in the last decade. I think they've won 3 girls titles and 2 boys titles in less than 10 years. And they always seem to have a lot of Kalamazoo Kingdom club players and a lot of players heading the college ranks every year. So she's one of the best players returning for Gold Lake, and Gold Lake wouldn't be surprised if they're playing in the last week of the season as well.
Would not be a surprise at all as we bring you back now into our mugs here on the
yeah. It's not too pretty.
Speak for yourself there, Dan. But anyways, I speak for all of us. But yeah, that's Division 2. Familiar faces, and something that we saw within the first time doing this in the fall. We saw a lot of teams that were really, similar, just moving in and out. See a team move from 10 to 8, maybe some teams move from 5 to 5 to 10 or whatever, 5 to 9, maybe like we saw in Division 3. We'll see those kind of moves. And as the season shakes up, you're going to start to see some consistency in
in these rankings, I'd imagine.
Yeah, you'll start a lot of it. A lot of the changes will happen in the bottom 5, your 15 through your 10s. And in the middle of the pack and in the upper part of the pack, it's usually a move up or down based on who you played that week and what your results look like. Especially in these D2 rankings, like I really feel Forest Hill Central is very good. You know, you could just had a weird day, a weird bounce go your way and you get a loss, right? On the flip side, you know, Marion did a really good job against my group the other day, super well coached. And, you know, moving up after getting, a win against a ranked team and then a decisive win against Walled Lake Central, it makes sense to move them up. You know, for any of the top 5, though, it's about consistency. And if you can win consistently, you'll stay around in that group.
No question about that. We're going to head to our final break here, but before we do, we're going to talk about a staple in the soccer community for almost 40 years, over 40 years. Since 1978, Georgia's Soccer Supply, your one-stop shop for all your soccer needs. Their name and reputation as a leading retailer in the market has stood the test of time. I can tell you that when I was at Groves, I went there and got all my soccer gear. As a player, I got their goalkeeping gear, refereeing gear. There's a gentleman, I forget who used to work there, that would help me with all that stuff. But either way, it's amazing, and it's rewarding for Georgia Soccer to have the children of players come in that were the original customers back in the day. Scan the QR code or visit georgiasoccer.com. Call 248-528-2948 and save 10% off your order by saying MSN 10. That's right, Georgia Soccer Supply, located in Troy, on Rochester Road between 16 and 17 Mile. You're watching the Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back after the break.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. We help players develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills, receiving and finishing from different situations such as volleys, headers, one touch, and off the dribble, with and without pressure. In addition, we help players increase their speed of play, dominate with their off-the-ball movement, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, as well as large groups and team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country. We've also developed one of the most detail-oriented training programs to help out players. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. For more information, visit our website, evolutionperformancetraining.com, or text or call 248-818-3943.
Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in!
Hey, give me some of it. Okay, all right, I'm going. The Journey, the Tilton Girls, take one.
My favorite moments ever as a father was the moment she made the A-team.
They would always push me and my friends as well.
Their authenticity and integrity that they were able to do everything with.
I still struggle with a little bit, just like the confidence, like knowing that I'm in a different environment.
I could not be more proud of you, Justice, and of you, Remini.
It's gonna be a roast here.
No, it's not a roast.
Ocean, and it was hard. Don't tell anybody that.
And action.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
To do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
whether we need to or not.
We did it today.
It was really dirty. My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club.
Join today, starting at just $24.99 a month.
Welcome back here into our Premier Sports Center studio here in Shelby Township, Michigan. And something I want to do here real quick, we even talked about it throughout the show here, but we're going to talk about it right now. Steve Besk has said that he will do the one chip challenge here when we get to 3,000 subscribers. Right now we're sitting at 2,949. So we are just 51 shy of that goal. And I'm going to put this on my screen right now here. That's we already have it here in studio. We don't have the ambulance yet on standby because I feel like he's going to have that. We're going to have some medical personnel on standby if he were to do this. But either way, we just need 51 more subscribers, and Steve will punish himself right here live on our network. Will be a live airing of this as well. So we will bring that to you as soon as we hit that 3,000. So we do have a show here tomorrow night, which would be great. He's not available Tuesday, but he's available Wednesday. So we could do a live show Wednesday morning if we had the subscribers. So yeah. So thoughts on doing that challenge there, Jimmy?
I'll pass. I've seen some. If you ever follow YouTube and you see some of these people do it, it does not look comfortable.
No, it does not. It does not look comfortable at all. I agree with you. I too have seen people doing it live, and I don't quite get it, but hey, to each their own. Me and Steve at a game back at Sterling Heights Stevenson back in the fall had said, hey, if we get to 5,000 subscribers, we'll do it together. And I had purchased a chip on the air, and I was like, hey, we'll do it at 5,000. And then out of nowhere on Tuesday, Steve's like, I'll do it at 3,000. I'm like, well, Steve, we're only like 100 and something away. I mean, it's not really that big of a tall order. He's like, I'm going to do it. I was like, okay, well, you made your own bed. You're going to have to sleep in it.
To each his own, right?
So if you're watching this right now, log in and subscribe to our channel. And as soon as we get to that 3,000 number, subscribers, we will, well, not we, Steve. Steve will be doing the One Chip Challenge live here on our network. So super exciting to talk about that. But we are going to get ready here to do Division I here in just a moment. But I want to put up and let you know that our first game here coming up here on April 4th will be live at Birmingham Groves High School as they take on Bloomfield Hills in that matchup. So that'll be a 7 p.m. kickoff. We'll have pregame show coverage starting at 6:30 on April the 4th will be our first game. So we'll have the full schedule release here for April and May coming up here later this week. So very, very cool. But let's dive in here into these rankings here now for Division I, starting with 15 through 6 as they'll hop up here on your screen. And there they are. As you'll see now, Division I at number 15, Plymouth Salem, previously unranked, made their way into the top 15. Troy High moved up one spot to 14. Muskegon Mona Shores, they're at 13, previously at 14. Anchor Bay, they're at 12. That's where they were last week, as well as Okemos, Utica Eisenhower. Stony Creek and Ann Arbor Skyline and Troy Athens and Rockford all stayed the same. Not one change, anything below 12. So, but Plymouth Salem, that newcomer, stepping into the rankings for the first time this week, and then Rockford there at that 6th spot. Rockford had a win earlier this week against they beat Grand Rapids Union 6-0. Again, we mentioned that Troy Athens and Anchor Bay both saw each other this week. It was a 1-1 tie, and you saw Utica Eisenhower. They beat Warren Regina 2-0 and then beat Utica 4-2. The interesting about that game, they were actually down 2-0 in that game. Eisenhower was to Utica and came back and won that one 4-2. So not too shabby. But what are your thoughts on the rankings here, Dan?
Well, Salem knocked Rochester Adams out. Salem will be one of the best teams in that KLAA. Northville was the overall league champion last year and won the KLLA West. And then Salem, I believe, was second in that division. And it will be a very formidable group this year. Expect Salem, just like on the boys' side, they'll wouldn't be surprised if they climb their way into the top 10 before this season's over. Adams is in the honorable mention list with Graham Blank of Midland Dow. Those two will be likely two of the best teams in that Saginaw Valley League. Anchor Bay and Athens, as you mentioned, tied. Anchor Bay, along with Utica Eisenhower, be the class of the Macomb Area Conference Red Division this year. Those two teams both brought back quite a few players. Ann Arbor Skyline and Rochester Stony Creek haven't played yet. Skyline is anxious because they were upset in that district final by Ann Arbor Huron last year and would love to get some wins back under their belt. That was a very explosive team last year that fell short of expectations, so watch for Skyline to make some noise this year as well.
We take a look here at our newcomer, number 15, Plymouth Salem. That's right, they beat Rochester Adams this past week, 2-1, and then they lost to Northville in the D1 district final last year, 1-0. Northville obviously going on all the way to a state final, losing to Bloomfield Hills, their first ever state championship in the finals.
Yeah, Bloomfield Hills is another team that we'll talk about later. Northville, we'll talk about them later. But Salem, you know, it's one of those programs where you go back 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they always seem to do a lot of damage in the postseason. In a lot of years, they've made a lot of deep runs. So we'll see if they're able to get to the Final Four this year. They'll have to get back past Northville and a lot of other good teams there in that western Wayne County area, but very dangerous side.
So without further ado, here's your top 5 for Division I. Bloomfield in that 5 spot, same as last week. Hudsonville is actually down from the 2 spot at 4. Rochester at 3. Portage Central made their way from that 4th spot to number 2, and Northville remains number 1. Again, Northville has yet to play. They'll play their first game here next week. Not this week, but the following week after spring break. But Portage Central, they beat Hudsonville on the 22nd, 2-1. And that's the difference maker in that top 5.
Yeah, Portage Central did lose a few very good players, especially from the midfield and up top to graduation, but Portage Central is another team that always seems to be there. They're reloading. You know, the good teams never seem to go completely empty. They're reloading. They'll be a factor. They were in the Final Four last year. They lost to Bloomfield Hills, their state champion in the semis. And then Rochester beat Canton 2-0, but they Williamston, the defending Division III state champ, who's ranked number 1 in Division III. Rochester beat them in a scrimmage 5-0 last Monday.
Jeez.
That doesn't count towards your record, but they are a very explosive team, Rochester. Their only loss last year was in the state semifinals to Northville, 2-1.
That's right. So speaking of Rochester, another Natalie Race is our player profile here for week number 2. A 2022 Offensive Player of the Year for Michigan High School Soccer Coaches Association. She has committed to Carnegie Mellon for her collegiate career. She's a player to watch here for 2023 in this girls' season.
Yeah, all-state first team last year. She had quite a few Division I offers, but Carnegie Mellon is a high academic school. She'll play for them next year, and very dangerous. You know, you need a player that can finish up top to help make a run in the postseason, and Natalie Race is one of the several players Rochester has in their roster as they try to seek their first state title this season.
No question about that. And we've talked about this. You know, Rochester, you know, of all the teams in Division I, with as far as they went with the returning, I think they have 10 returning players in their 11s.
Yep.
You think about that, and I think it's fair to say, and Jimmy, maybe you could agree with this, Dan, as well, is that at any given time, these top 5, based on how they play throughout the season, there's an argument for them to be number 1.
100%.
Right. We saw that in the fall with your team in Troy, right? Between you and Catholic Central, it was any week we could go. Either one of them could have been number 1 or number 2, right? It didn't matter because the way you guys were playing, the way that the talent on the field, it just any one of them could be number 1 or 2. Rochester's ranked 3, right? Portage Central obviously right now ahead of them in that spot, but you know, arguably they probably one of the best teams, if not the best team in the state. You mentioned they beat Williamston, who won the state final for Division II last year. Division III. Thank you. And so it's an argument that should be had.
Yeah, you go up and down on the rankings in all 4 divisions, and a lot of these schools have won state championships. Rochester lost in the semis last year. They lost in the semis back in 1994 and 95. And they were state runner-up to a very powerful Novi squad back in 2007. I believe Novi and Rochester were both in the top 25 in the country back in 2007. But they have never won a state championship in girls soccer, so they're one of the handful of teams that are hoping to break that ice this season. But they're in the same district with Utica Eisenhower, Rochester Stony Creek, and Rochester Adams. So as much talent as they have, their coach is stressed about it's going to be an absolute bloodbath just winning another district championship, let alone making a deep run.
Yeah, and it's something we did last week for the first time in the history of our ranking shows, and we're going to do it right now here, is announce our MSN 10. And to be fair, just based on the week itself and only a handful of games really taking place of meaning this week, we did not make any changes to that back to those rankings. So let's take a look, put them on our screen here once again here, taking a look at number one here on our list, Rochester in that number one spot. If you're asking MSN what we think, number one, Rochester. Hudsonville is number two, Northville 3, Bloomfield Hills is 4th, Troy Athens 5, Stony Creek is 6th, Grand Rapids 4th, Hill Central 7th, Richland Gull Lake is 8th, and Birmingham Marion is number 9. If maybe I move that up a little bit, maybe that let's just slide that up there. Anchor Bay, there they are. Didn't quite make it on the screen there, but Anchor Bay.
We'll have to make a few changes to that list, though.
We will for sure. But either way, that is your MSN Top 10 here for week number 2. Exciting stuff. So as we bring you back in here. But, something, Jimmy, before we wrap this show up, something that we always like to do is ask a couple of questions of our guests, right? And we're going to do that right now. So the first question, Jimmy, that we always ask is, and this is both obviously related to food. So if you don't know, I mean, you haven't been watching us long enough, and then you don't know that food's our shtick. And something that we talk about quite a bit here on the network. And, so we're going to ask, so we asked all your players in the fall, if you had a go-to meal, if you were on death row and they said, this is your last meal, what would be your last meal? What would it be?
Pizza for sure.
Okay, so pizza.
For sure.
Okay, so what kind of pizza?
It depends on what I'm in the mood for.
Well, you're about to, according to what I just said, it's your last meal. I mean,
Alibi in Troy is probably
that's some good pizza, by the way.
Yeah, it's a staple in our household.
It is. You get the anapasto salad too?
Yeah, I leave that for my wife. I'll just smash the pizza.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. Any accompaniments? Anything else that would go with the pizza?
I think it's more about just concentrating on the one food.
Okay.
Like back in the day, Cartman in South Park used to say, appetizers are what makes you more hungry. No, I just want to eat the pizza. So
okay.
I'll stick with that.
It's a great. Hey, Eric Polk said he likes pizza and he liked mashed potatoes and gravy, which was I thought, hey, well, if you're gonna go out, I guess you're gonna go out really tired.
Yeah, and he mentioned Alibi. If anyone from outside of the Detroit area that's watching the show, if you're ever in Troy,
Alibi Pizza is some
of
the
pizza,
best.
I would rank in the top 10 in the entire state of Michigan. That stuff is.
Did Barstool did he come and rate them or no? I don't think he did.
I don't know if he rated.
I know he did Green Lantern. I know he did Crispelli's. I know he did a number, but their pizza is really, really good.
Yeah, they've been there forever. I mean, they were there when I was a kid and used to get it. So.
It's been there since like the 40s or 50s. Yep. It used to be a little shack right on Rochester Road.
Yep.
So our final question, the final question we ask, is your go-to candy. Your go-to
Swedish fish is generally the one.
Swedish fish, okay.
Yeah, that's generally the one. I'm not a big candy person, but that would be the one.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Did I ever asked you what you like is your favorite food, or did I ever do that before?
I mean, candy. I'm a Reese's peanut butter cup guy.
That's right.
One
yeah,
of my faves.
Okay. And my wife.
But if I had a last meal, I might have to go with a really good steak.
Okay.
Medium well.
Medium well
with mushrooms.
Okay.
Salad, blue cheese, some garlic bread. I have to go all out.
Okay, last meal. Okay, fair enough.
Some good potatoes, depending on what kind of potato is being served, but good baked potato, maybe some mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Gravy. Yeah.
Okay. That's good, man. Yeah, my wife and I were actually talking about this. She's like, it's really hard to think about your last meal. Like, what would you have? Like, you think about all the different things. If it's like a 5-course meal, what kind of appetizer you're going to have? What's your dessert? You're going to have like a carrot cake. You have, cheesecake. I know I'm probably making everybody hungry right now thinking about this, but this is a very important thing to think about. What are you going to eat? I mean, and the reason I say this is think about this. What does every soccer team in this state do from a high school? I would say high school. What do they do after training sessions before a game? They go have a team dinner, right? What are they having? They're breaking bread. They're having spaghetti. They're having subs. They're having pizza, right? They're having something together as a team. There's usually cookies that everyone makes with players' numbers on them and everything, right? What do they do after a game? What do? You all go eat together. Food is a very important part of the game, and whether you think about that or not, it's true. It really is important. I can remember every training session at Troy Athens High School. After every training session before a game, we always went to someone's taking our shoes off at the door, these pile of shoes all at the front door, right? And you're walking in, and there's whole like 10 parents all serving food for you, and Tim Storch would walk in. Like, I remember those things. And these are the things that these players are going to remember more than the games. I can tell you that right now, is the moment where they're sitting with their friends Sarah and Susie and whoever else, and they're having these team dinners. So when I ask the question, what's your go-to meal? I get it. Like, I mean, we have a go-to meal, right? And it's paydays, it's candy, right, for our games. Dan, we bring candy into the press box. We don't eat food, we eat candy. That's why we ask that question.
But he mentions pizza. I'll be honest with you. I was in Cadillac about a month ago, and I went to a brewery in downtown Cadillac. The pizza was phenomenal. It was great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, hey, if you have a pizza place around the state, when I'm out and about, making my travels around the state, you can suggest a pizza place, outside of the Oakland County area.
Yeah.
Shoot me an email. I'll try it out. You can't go wrong with a good pizza.
There's a lot of hole in the walls too that have good food. My wife and I we frequent this place near our house, and they say they have the best wings in North America. I mean, I think it's a broad statement, but their wings are really good, So, but they say best in North America. But either way, nonetheless, it's just food is very, very much important part of this game, and we want to know more about what you eat, like you like to eat. So. Good conversation to have, at least I think so.
We'll put up a poll online later this spring or summer. Best pizza places in Michigan.
How about the best? I mean, we could do that. I could do that tomorrow. I want to remind everybody, next Sunday, I will not be here. I'll be flying in from Catalina Island. I'll be flying in from the
Must
wine
be
mixer.
Nice, huh?
On a plane here. So we will not have our ranking show on Sunday night. We'll actually have it on Monday night when I come back. So we'll do that as part of our MSN weekly lineup on Monday night. So you'll have to just wait one more day to watch the show. So, but we do appreciate Jimmy. Thank you very much here for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a good time.
No, it's been a great time. It's been fun, and we got to learn some more about what you like, what you enjoy, and as far as food, that's really, really cool. So, but that'll be a wrap here for us on this Sunday evening, as we are 60 teams down. We got them all in, and a lot of rankings. 29 total changes here this week. That's a lot of changes, Dan.
Yeah, we'll make some serious changes to the MSN Weekly Top 10, the Super 10.
Oh yeah,
I didn't have a chance to do that this week, so we'll make some changes.
It stayed the same.
Bowl. Yeah, the teams will help you with some of those changes.
Yeah, there's a.
Want to remind everybody, our first game is coming up here in just a few short weeks. Well, a week and a half. April 4th, Birmingham Groves or Bloomfield Hills, and we'll bring you the full schedule here later this week. But from all of us here at Premier at the Michigan Soccer Network, Dan Stickrat, John Turner, Jimmy Cichura, our special guest. Best pizza places in Michigan, one of them at Alibi. So make sure you hit that one up. And but we'll see you next time here. We'll be at MSN Weekly on location tomorrow night, live at Evolution Sports Complex in Auburn Hills. So we'll be there for some trials and MSN Weekly. So some fun stuff. But everyone have a great rest of your Sunday night, what's left of it, and an even better week. See you next time here on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Thank you.